Hi, I'm back with block 18. So I hope you're having a good week. Thursday again already. Where does the time go? This block is called Churn Dash, and this block uses 2 different units. So now you'll know why we did the strips yesterday, because we're going to do a little bit of strip piecing to make 4 of our units for this block. So for your 3-inch block, you'll need 2 strips, 1 by 7 inches, 1 of your red fabric, 1 of your background fabric. For your 6-inch block, your strips will need to be 1.5 by 12 inches. So we are going to sew our strips. And you're going to press them toward the darker side. And then you're going to cut your strip into 1.5-inch squares for your 3-inch block and 2.5-inch squares for your 6-inch block. And so whatever you're cutting is the size. They're going to be squares, so your strip should finish at 1.5 inches across, and then we'll cut those. Let me get this out of the way. We don't want any accidents, so we're going to cut 1.5-inch squares. Or 2.5-inch squares, depending on the size of your block. All right, once you get those sewn, you're ready to add your half square triangles. So you'll need 1 7/8-inch squares, 1 7/8-inch squares, 2 of them from your red fabric and 2 of them from your background fabric. For this block, I'm using yellow because this is not my red, white, and blue. So you want to cut your squares in half diagonally and sew them into half square triangle units. All right. Your squares are going to face in, and then you're going to add your rectangle units. Then for the center, you'll need a 1.5-inch square for your 3-inch blocks of your background fabric, or a 2.5-inch square of your background fabric for your 6.5-inch blocks. So as you see, lay them out, we'll sew them together, and that's our Churn Dash block. This is another one of my old-time favorite blocks. I really like the old traditional blocks a lot. I think most of them are pretty straightforward to do, so that's a bonus, definitely. And these are the blocks I learned to make as a beginning quilter, so I guess they have a special place in my heart. I hope you're finding that these 3-inch blocks are actually pretty fun to do, and they most of them don't take very long. So this one takes a little longer because you have to sew 2 different units to make them. And this is another one where we're going to press our seams toward the center square, and then toward the outer. No, we're going to press them away from the center square so we can press them away from the corner triangles. Sorry, I said that backwards. If I can, I always like to press away from the triangles just because it sets you up for having a little less bulk in your corners. Of course, when you're working with these small squares, it's just a lot of bulk anyway. Make sure you nest those seams really nicely. Later on, when we have some different units, we'll talk about trimming down seam allowances to reduce bulk. But for now, these are fine. So you can press these this way. Oops, those flipped over funny. So I'll show you what I do when I have something that flips like that. Usually if you just snip that last stitch, holding that down. Whoops. Gotta be careful not to catch the fabric. You can peel those back, and then you can just restitch those seams. Making sure nothing is caught under there. There we go. That looks better. I like it when it's consistent. So then these I'll press this direction. And there you have block 18, Churn Dash. This is the 3.5-inch size. Thanks, and I'll see you tomorrow with block 19.